Hi, Marcelo. Great to meet you.
Great to meet you, Michelle. Thanks for having me here.
Well, I'm excited to chat with you today and hear your perspective around AI and AI initiatives. So I'm going to dive right in. Tell us a little bit about your role at RapidCanvas and how you work with companies in the US and Latin America.
Perfect. Yeah. So, Marcelo Vieira, I'll basically tell you a little bit about RapidCanvas and then what my role is. So, RapidCanvas is an agentic AI workflow company. So, we take what traditionally would be workflows that are manual and we automate them. And we do that through the Canvas, which is the RapidCanvas product. And part of our differentiation is that we deliver experts in the loop that are involved with the businesses to help understand the business needs and translate those into AI solutions. And my role with the company is I lead growth initiatives. So growth initiatives are effectively categorized into three areas. Organic growth. So I work with clients across the US, particularly in Latin America. Incidentally, it's the first time in my career that I'm getting to speak Spanish and Portuguese. Portuguese is my native language. So I'm excited about being able to leverage both of those languages. But we work with a lot of companies across the US as well. So that's the first. The second is I also lead partnerships, and partnerships could be companies that are doing already work with clients. They already have a seat at the table and a trusted voice, and we deliver the product to automate a lot of these workflows for these companies. And then the third is M&A. A lot of hyper growth companies, they pull on all three levers to deliver growth, organic, partnerships, and M&A.
Excellent. And tell me a little bit more, when you say experts in the loop, is that somebody who is an expert in the RapidCanvas platform, or is that an expert in terms of their business? Yeah, just explain a little bit more about what you mean.
Yeah, great question. It means usually two things. One is what I would say is a business expert that can help translate the needs of the company into business goals, right? And the business goals are usually associated with helping the company grow revenue or reduce cost. Both are usually the two most important vectors for companies in whichever vertical or industry they are in. And then the second aspect of it is the translation of those needs into AI, into agentic workflows. And it usually requires somebody that has a background in data science and machine learning or agentic workflows. So the combination of the tool plus the business expert and the AI expert is what we call expert in the loop. And ultimately what it delivers are exactly the results and the return on investment that companies are looking for.
Excellent. So one of the things that you do hear often from leaders is like everybody's on board with AI initiatives and everybody's launching these AI initiatives, but they're starting to now stop and think and pose the question of how quickly am I going to get an ROI on my investment in AI? And so can you tell us how you address that?
Yeah, you bet. Yeah, the question that perhaps even comes before ROI is where do you start? And I think the most important thing for companies is to get started. And the way to do that is by understanding what are their biggest business goals, right? So if you ask a company, what are you trying to achieve this year? What are your business goals? And then you insert the question, how can AI help me? And in doing that, we usually categorize efforts in AI into four different areas. At the best case scenario is efforts that will deliver high return and they are low in complexity to implement. And on the other end of the spectrum is efforts that are effectively low return, but high complexity. And then you have the two in the middle. So we create this quadrant and we identify these business needs and goals that the company has. And we translate those business needs and goals into AI projects. And we do it in this sort of four quadrant category. And what it ultimately delivers is a very logical manner for companies to create a roadmap. And that roadmap, if you've done correctly, will bubble up to the top the projects that will deliver highest return first with a low level of complexity. So what is realistic to expect from an ROI is months. And this is part of the effort that we have with RapidCanvas. The combination of the expert in the loop plus the RapidCanvas product can deliver projects that deliver ROI in weeks and months versus months and years, which is the traditional model that's been used in the past through consultancies and so forth, where you perhaps come in, you do 6 months of discovery, 6 months of development, and then 6 months of implementation. And by the time it's all said and done, a year and a half goes by, the technology has moved on, and the company doesn't realize the value expected. So we've translated that whole process into a few weeks with the ability to deliver ROI in weeks and months.
Excellent. That reminds me, recently I heard, I don't know if you listened to it, but John Chambers, the former CEO of Cisco, did a really nice interview about his predictions for AI. And one of the things he predicted was that there was going to be a 5 times faster adoption of AI than the internet. And what was really interesting was he was like, and you're going to get 3 times the outcomes. And with a year over year, 7 to 10% increase every single year for at least 10 years. And his prediction at the end of it was that half of the Fortune 500 are going to disappear because they're not going to adopt AI. And it made me really think about, okay, well, let's say half of them disappear. Who replaces them? Okay.
Yeah.
And so I'd love to hear like your thoughts around like, what are the companies that have the opportunity to leapfrog, right, their current competition and move into those 250 open slots?
Yeah. John Chambers is a very smart person. I've had the pleasure very early on in my career to meet him when I was in the Bay Area. So I respect a lot of what he's been able to build over the years with Cisco and his other endeavors. And look, the reality is that I agree. This is faster and more dramatic than the internet. And the analogy of the internet is a good one. In the 90s, a lot of companies were asking, do I need to sell online? Do I need to have a website? Well, that's an irrelevant question today. In the 2000s, the same question was about mobile. Do I need to have a mobile strategy? Well, it's an irrelevant question today. And perhaps in the 2010s, it was about social media. Same kind of a question, irrelevant today. The same thing is happening with AI, but the difference is that in the past, companies had a lot more time. They had years to figure out the answers to those questions. And the reality with the AI era is that companies have a lot less time. So the outcome of that is the companies that don't take action, they will be left behind. Whether they will be irrelevant in 2, 3, 4, 5 years, nobody knows. But at the end of the day, it changes every role in every organization. And it starts with asking a question, how can I do my task? Whether it is a marketing effort, a sales effort, a product development effort, a finance and operations effort, better with AI. And having experts involved in helping you come up with the answer and deploy those solutions very, very quickly. So nobody truly knows what will happen, but I do deeply believe that this is the most transformative technology of our time. And the companies that don't take advantage of it will be left behind.
Excellent. All right, I've heard you use a term, okay, and it's a mouthful, so I'm going to read it, okay, because it's a mouthful. Productized managed AI services. Can you tell me what the heck is that and why it makes a difference for companies?
You bet. Yeah, I think what's happened over the last 10, 20 plus years is there's been an explosion of SaaS applications. So if you consider the traditional business or enterprise, whether it is a small firm or a massive organization, they may have dozens of applications, some for HR, some for CRM, some for finance, and so on and so forth, product development. And what happened over the last 10, 20 plus years is that this data that they've accumulated for all of these different areas has remained in silos, isolating those bespoke applications for those particular verticals, those particular areas. And from that standpoint, you don't have the benefit of all this data being connected with a layer of intelligence on top of it. And the way to do this is different from company to company, because some companies may use SAP, some companies may use a lot of other tools to manage their databases of where this data resides, which at the core of it is a massive differentiation for each company. So what you need is a system that connects all of these data sources together and is bespoke to each company, right? Because each company may have their own version of 10, 20, 30, or 100 different applications. So this notion of productized managed AI services is the ability to add through product. And that's an example of that is what RapidCanvas provides, the ability through APIs to connect all these different data sources, hundreds of them. And even if we don't have APIs for the data sources that a company needs, we can create one within 24 or 48 hours, connect the data, add a layer of intelligence on top of it, and then help them ask the right questions to gather the right relevant knowledge off of these different data sources. So when sales works with finance, works with manufacturing, you can imagine that inventory management becomes much more accurate. Forecasting with the right modeling becomes much more accurate, right? When all these data sources stitch together. So in essence, productized managed AI services is the ability to do 80% of what you need to do with a product, the RapidCanvas, but the last 20% is going to be effectively bespoke for each specific company. And that's what we call productized managed AI services. A shorter version of that, Michelle, may be software as a service, right? Which is a term that a lot of analysts are starting to use now as well.
Okay. Well, that's easier to say definitely than the productized managed services. So tell me, give me an example of a company that's taking that approach, and tell me a little bit about what they were looking to achieve and what their outcomes were.
Yeah, you bet. I'll give you maybe 2 to 3 examples to make this very tangible.
Excellent.
So customer support or call centers, that's a role that is effectively, for the most part, a reactive type of a role, right? That answers customer calls and provides support. A lot of these roles will leverage different tools that the company has to understand the product knowledge, to understand issues that a customer may have, take orders, change order requests, whatever those needs may be. And the ability for them to do this more effectively or to be automated as an agent is an example where you can effectively reduce the effort of the number of client calls that you have through automation and through AI. So you can envision a world where if I call you to ask for an order of a piece of clothing, as an example, right? And you're my customer agent, you have to check inventory, you have to check if the order is available, where can I pick up, if it can be delivered, if I need to change to a different color. All of these different functions can now be automated through an AI agent that can either be a chat, an intelligent chat, or it can be deployed with voice as well. The outcome for the consumer is faster interaction. You don't have to wait because it's constantly available 24/7, no matter if it's a holiday or not, right? Whether it's late in the day or early in the morning. And the benefit for the business is efficiency, right? You no longer need thousands or hundreds of people to do this work because a vast majority of those can be handled through an automated agent. And then for the special cases, because you may not catch all of the cases with an AI agent, you pass it back into a human expert in the loop to handle those situations. So that's one example of that automation and how AI can be of benefit to customers.
And as that relates back to the software as a service, it's because you have those experts that are being handed off the exception cases that makes it software as a service, and that the automation is happening inside the platform. Is that accurate?
Somewhat. I would say maybe a simpler way to think about it is in the future, the CEO of a company that has 1,000 individuals may have 100 humans as individuals that he or she manages, but they have 900 agents that are digital agents doing HR, doing call center and customer support, doing sales, doing finance and operations, right? Okay. And in that mix of agents to humans, is the new world that we are all.
So we have this virtual team we have some digital people that are in the mix as well. So we need so we're working and collaborating with colleagues that are digital in that scenario, that are providing services. Okay, better, much clearer. Thank you, Marcelo, for clarifying.
You bet, yeah.
You said you wanted to mention a couple of other examples. Did you want to give us?
Yeah, I mean, another example that we have and we've deployed with customers is just the ability to predict things. So we have one of our customers that manufactures wind turbines. Wind turbines, as an example, is a highly specialized piece of machinery that is very difficult to replace and very costly, right? So we can build predictive algorithms that will effectively determine when certain aspects of that wind turbine may break, preventing those turbines from being out of commission for much longer at a much higher cost, and doing that with a prediction algorithm off of historical data of how those turbines have performed in the past, right? So that's just another example of a prediction algorithm. And the same kind of a thing can be done for sales and inventory management or other aspects of the business as well.
Great. Thank you. So tell me, if people are interested in software as a service or in the RapidCanvas platform, how do they get in touch with you and your team to help guide them?
Yeah, well, it's a very simple process. They can go to our website, which is rapidcanvas.ai. We can request a chat, a conversation, a demo. But the most important thing is for them to understand the process of how we work and how they should engage with others as well, even if it is not RapidCanvas. Is we first spend time, and it's not a whole lot of time, introducing ourselves, what we do and how we do it. We then understand the company, their problems. What are the most important and pressing business needs that they have? For an example, what are you trying to accomplish this year, right? And then we break those goals down into AI projects. And we do this in a very fast manner, to the point that from the first conversation to a proposal or an engagement, it can be less than 30 days. And the delivery of something tangible to them is another few weeks behind that. So that's how fast things can move.
You're giving them an AI roadmap, and then you're speeding them down the highway to get to some initial results quickly, so they can decide whether this technology is going to work for their organization and how well it will work for their organization.
That's right.
That's great. And since you mentioned that you are multilingual, can you maybe tell us in Spanish and in Portuguese how people would get in touch with you, so that if we have some people from Latin America listening, they know how to reach out to you as well?
Claro que sí. Michelle, ¿tú hablas español o no?
Sí, un poquito.
Un poquito, muy bien. Para entrar en contacto con nosotros, por favor, vayan al website, que es rapidcanvas.ai, y hagan una pregunta para hacer una reunión. Y la reunión es bien rápida, o sea, podemos conocernos en 30 minutos, entender su negocio, explicar lo que hacemos, y en menos de 30 días pueden tener retorno con un proyecto que empezamos a desarrollar para ustedes.
Bueno, yo lo entendí todo. Gracias por eso. ¿Y cómo te decir en português?
Claro que sim, em português.
Português.
Para entrar em contato conosco, por favor, vá ao website rapidcanvas.ai e faça uma pergunta para ter uma reunião com nós. As reuniões são eficientes, 30 minutos para nos conhecermos melhor, explicamos o que fazemos e como fazemos, e entendemos o que vocês fazem com o seu negócio, suas metas. Por exemplo, quais são as suas metas esse ano. E em menos de 30 dias, podemos dar uma proposta, um AI roadmap para vocês e começar a desenvolver projetos que vão te dar retorno em semanas.
Well, thank you very much, Marcelo, for your time. It was a pleasure getting to know you and hear your thoughts about the AI journey that most of us are embarking on today. So thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. Pleasure to meet you.